Ifiemi Andrew. We now go over to my guest. I have on the line with us Deji Adeyanju, lawyer and human rights activist. Sir, thank you for joining us and good morning to you.
Thank you for connecting with me. I'm here right here in Abuja this morning.
Thank you. We understand you don't have a lot of time, so we just go straight to the point. First, if you can, what is the situation like? Is the protest still on? Because yesterday it was one hell of a protest, and people believe that these protests could force lawmakers to do the needful. And we understand that there's supposed to be a sit-in today. Are you positive that if Nigerians continue with this protest, we might see some changes being made to the electoral laws, especially as it concerns
Yes,
transmission of results?
yes, indeed. Let me first sincerely commend the organizers of the protest, no matter who they are. Yesterday, we have witnessed some politicians joining the protest, the former presidential candidate of the Labour Party. We have also seen some strange bedfellows like Loretta Oneke, who used to criticize many of us for protesting against our former principal, Muhammad Buhari, and other politicians joining the protest. But that does not delegitimize the protest in any way or form, because protest is one of the most potent ways of bringing societal change. One of actually the fastest modes of bringing societal change to any nation. Just name it: Selma Walk, Martin Luther King, Mahatma Gandhi, and other notable protests that were a source of societal engineering world over. That said, it's also important to note that the purpose and the aim and objective of this protest is to ensure that what I personally consider the anti-people electoral act enacted by the ever worthless National Assembly must be revived. It must be revived. That is the essence of the protest. If I were not in court most of yesterday, and it's one of the reasons why I will not be able to continue on this program for long is because I'm out in court again today. So if I were not in court, I will have done the protest. And the organizers have said that the protest is going to continue today, which is another noteworthy commendation on their part. Okay. But, this is Nigeria. We have been protesting for about 30 years of our lives. And I can tell you that if it is this government that I know, by now, some state actors are already sponsoring counter-protests, are planning to sponsor counter-protests. But that should not dissuade or discourage the protesters. The protesters must be resolute. They must remain firm. They must continue demanding for a total reversal, that the irreducible minimum expected from the rubber stamp National Assembly, led by Godswill Akpabio, and his psychophant legislators, fellows, is that the anti-people provision in the Electoral Act, which is removal of givers, real-time electronic transmission of results, and other sundry issues, must be reversed.
All right. So
what they have done is to revive the electoral gains that we have witnessed in the country since in the 2000s. They have reversed it, and they have brought us back to the era of where politicians can just write results at will, and change results from 3 minutes to wards to local government and to state level. Thank you.
All right. Now, just one more question before you take your leave. The excuse given by Senator Godswill Akpabio, the Senate President, as to why they had to leave it open for INEC to decide how it wants to transmit the result as against making it mandatory is that, we have network issues. In fact, he said about 9 states could be affected if this was made mandatory because he believes that there are network problems in those areas as a result of insecurity that could become a problem. Are those reasons legit in your perspective?
Not at all. They are not legitimate at all. No matter how you look at it, it goes without saying that these guys are just enemies of Nigeria. There's no how else you can imagine it. That in fact, by now, if we had a forward-thinking National Assembly, we should be talking about electronic voting. The world has still moved on. We are now in the realm of 5G. The world and even the machines of INEC, they do not even need internet. Once you vote, the result is imputed. So the whole idea of whether it's transmitted from point A to point B is invalid because because the electoral officers, whether they be returning officers, whether they be polling unit officers, who impute the result, are eventually going to leave where they have been assigned. So all you need is just to impute the result and leave. Because the whole argument convinced by Fabio is aimed at writing result as it was done in 2003 and in 2007. The election that brought that idea in was considered to be one of the worst elections in the history of Nigeria. Fabio himself, the then president, condemned the result. It was because of the lacunas in the Electoral Act that allowed results to be written in such a way. If results are not, if voter cards are not verified by voters, it means anyone can vote. If results are not transmitted, it means anyone can change them from point A to point B. How can we, in all good conscience, in 2026, be having mindset such as part of Akabio? You know, it is unconscionable for anyone to think that Nigerians are free, that Nigerians can be treated like slaves in their own country. And what these people have done is something will be just there. No matter how you look at it, how can you say in this age and time that transmission of results, how can you even contemplate the idea of cancelling electronic transmission, even with electronic transmission of results? We saw how the APC read the Edo election. The Edo election was changed at the collation center. So, and what they have done now is to set a template for massive changing of election results, and you are going to see as the day draws by towards 2027, you're going to see what the level of brazeness and display in our show. The FCP council elections are coming. We are going to see what they are going to do. So they are just setting the template, for desensitizing the electorate and stealing of electoral results. That's in my view, in my considered view, that is what I think they are doing, and Nigerians can see through all their shenanigans.
All right, Mr. DG, unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time and you have to get on with your day. All the best in court today. We have to let you go. Hopefully, sometime in the future, we will talk more.
Indeed.
Thank you once again. Have a great day.
Thank you.
That's Ifiemi Andrew, a lawyer, a rights activist, and he says the protest continues today, although anything can happen. And also I said that the protest, yes, has the ability of forcing the hands of the lawmakers to do what the people are asking. It's unthinkable, in his words, to think that in this day and time with the technology we have available, we can still say, oh, we would have network issues. Especially when you put in proper perspective countries that have been practicing this since the year 2000 and have not had any reason to stop it or change or complain. Well, what are your thoughts? You heard my guest, and the question still remains. Do you believe that this protest, if it continues, will force the assembly to say, let us make mandatory electronic transmission of results from the polling, or votes rather, from the polling units? 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003. You can also call 0817-923-0007. Those are the numbers to call to join in on the conversation this morning. You can also use the WhatsApp number 0809-030-6416. Again, 0809-030-6416. That is the WhatsApp number. This one says, greetings. Instead of fight, let it rain. INEC can hold on for 2027 general elections for network providers to fix the network to put the network in order so that we can have free, fair, and credible election. Politicians cannot continue to use our brain to have their way when it's election period. Thank God Ability sent that one in. Nigerians, let me ask, how come this network doesn't affect collection of tax online? Does the network affect collection of tax online? Banks work with this. Banks use network. Government collect their tax through this method. They get VAT and all these things online. They do these deductions online. How come that is not affected by remember, this is something we've been using for several decades now. If there have been times without delay or glitches in the network, it's going to be like you can count on one hand. So are we then saying that we cannot ensure consistent service for an election that will hold for just a day if we have been using the same technology for decades and we've had very few times where we had issues? We still use this technology to collect funds and taxes and personal tax and all the others. All of these things are done online. Emeka from Owerri, let's start with you. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
The question you're asking, he does not need to arise at home. Because why I'm saying this, these are just the anti. Are you telling me this man said, they don't make up? So I know that members of the working there. Banks are not there. They are just the anti they want to use. People are run. You really in Nigeria that somebody, masses will beg you for free and fair attention. In Nigeria, please, give us free and fair. Give us, please. The people in authority say no, they will not give it to you. I thought we instead of wanting to do the next year, they decide whatever we want to give Nigeria election. What we are going through today. What are we not talking about in this country? If you need this process, it was something, and I want to appeal to the entire Nigeria public. Anybody that needs for this country. If you're in this letter, I know they're waiting for the plane area, whatever, the emergency people they want to have to do. And I just want to know what they will come up with. If they come up with a negative outcome, I want that outcome in Nigeria to come up with this case. Even businessmen, everybody, student union, everybody to come out. But if you can't get this right now, okay, I'll never get this right again. So they have strategized on how to run these issues there. So that they don't care, they don't care anything. Okay, now you have the way government has decided to you, which believe that the government are the people that will go to you. So I want to say, you have started state government.
All right, Emeka, thank you. Let's go to Omuma and then we go to Ida before we wrap up. Alozie in Omuma, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Ifiemi Andrew.
Yeah, Alozie, go on.
Now, let me first answer your first question. Will the protest lead or turn the hands of the lawmakers to do the needful? Again, it's unfortunate in Nigeria that the masses who ought to draw the lawmakers to be under their mercy, and the masses are not under the mercy of the lawmakers. For crying out loud, we elected these people. So if we are demanding for something, they should have it in their subconsciousness that these people may turn against us to vote us out. This can only be when the electoral system is working. So if you ask me if the protest will yield results, if it has already started yielding results. Secondly, they said in 6 states there is no network.
9.
Is there a rocket science? In 9 states there is no network. I did a research. I discovered that from MTN survey, they said it takes less than 4 months to build a standard network survey. Are they trying to tell us that as of today, Nigeria government doesn't have the funds to build a capacity network that will generate the network survey we need come 2027 election? Or are they adamant not to build the network to serve and salvage our electoral system in Nigeria? I am calling on the Senate. Enough of all this mutilated result sheet. I participated fully in the last 2023 election. You will see in polling unit, one party will score 4, another party will score 4. They will use correction fleet and mutilate it. So that thing should stop. Thank you, Alozie King.
And then now we go to Ida in Nkoro. Ida, good morning.
Andrew, good morning. Our leaders have failed us. The president, the Senate president have failed Nigerians. That's why they want to rig election in 2027. The protest is not going anywhere, my brother. Let me tell you the truth. They will still rig this election. Only people that can win election in Nigeria is Alex Oti in Abia State and Governor forever that can win genuine election. Because they are working for the people of the state. Come and see what Oti is doing in Abia State. My brother, there I went to Abia State. Abia State is just like a Dubai. My brother, all the roads, they have tied all the roads. Come to River State, the same thing. Under this crisis, Governor Sim is working. So this want to rig election. Nothing protest will do, my brother. I put in my community. What of those, maybe those fishing port them? They have network. My brother, this want to rig election. And they will rig. No matter what we will do, they will rig election. The only two states they cannot rig is Abia State and River State. Thank you, my lovely brother. Good morning.
All right. Thank you, Ida from Nkoro. Let's go over to some of your messages on Facebook and WhatsApp as we attempt to wrap things up and go on a quick commercial. On WhatsApp, this one says, what was meant to protect people instead make laws. They're supposed to make laws to protect the people, but they make laws against them. Where does justice go? If the lawmakers are the judge, who holds them accountable? Obeying unjust laws is not a virtue, it is surrender. Good morning. God's Time says, the answer is yes, electronic transmission will adequately be the best because it gives no room for result manipulation. Thank you and have a wonderful day. And even if there were manipulations, it will be easier to trace where the manipulations are coming from. Exactly. Real-time transmission of result is a must, and Senate will affirm it today on the beautiful ideas of scanning the thumb-printed ballot papers and sending it to INEC server. And also let the law be able to, the act also be adjusted to accommodate the server as to be admissible as evidence in court. There are many technicalities to all of these things. The Senate should stop giving excuses about powers of INEC. They are the lawmakers and they should make laws that goes in line with the Constitution. If you go on Facebook, this one says, Prince DK, can e-transmission be hacked? Just asking. That's what I said. If people have used this since year 2000 and they've not had complaints about that, so it means you can't do a great job with your firewall and make it happen. We can hack the analog system we're using now. But it is easier to trace a hack from the electronic system. You can see where it's coming from, who did it, where they did it from, and it's easier to then apply the law and prosecute accordingly if you think of it. Oko General Justice says real-time transmission of result is a must and Senate will affirm it today. Okay, let's wait and see how they do that, and then see if I can take one more before we go. This one says, we will soon sit at home and vote comfortably and know the results right there. It's happening in some parts of the world already. Good morning. We make the argument that, we are still young. Those countries are very advanced. I don't think Kenya is doing it. I don't know how advanced Kenya is. But come to think of it, if we are still behind and those countries are more advanced, how come we are able to use the technology of flying? Because we are behind. We shouldn't be using the technology of flying like those countries are. We shouldn't be using 5G because they are ahead of us. We are behind. But for whatever reason, we're using 5G because the people ahead pay the price. So it makes it easy for us to access the technology if we want it. We're driving cars that are AI driven in this country, but we are behind. We have network issues. How did we get those cars? We're using the latest phones in this country. We are behind. We're not supposed to be using that phone if we're going to go by the normal calculation on our technological advancement. We shouldn't be using those devices. But here we are using them. Why? Because there's a will and somebody decided that we deserve those good things. So we got it. I'm just saying. Good morning, Nigeria Info.